Hey everybody, welcome back for another monstrous fighting edition of SHOREVIEWKEN, where today we're taking a look at the third installment in the Vampire, aka Darkstalkers series, and that's Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampires, for the Sega Saturn, which is the Japan-exclusive 1998 port of the 1997 arcade original, and initially it was intended to be the only home port, but it was later released for the PS1 as Vampire Savior EX Edition in Japan and Darkstalkers 3 in North America and Europe. I actually think this Saturn port is an improvement over the arcade version, if for no other reason than that it includes all of the characters omitted from the arcade originals, such as Donovan and Pyron, in addition to the new characters such as Lilith and Valletta. The story is a little loose and changes from one character to another, but basically the new villain of the series, Jeddah Doma, has created a new dimension parallel to the human and demon worlds that he intends to funnel souls into to nourish the fetus of God, which will presumably awaken to annihilate all of reality so that it can be recreated, which, regardless if you're a werewolf or a zombie, is a bad thing. Vampire Savior maintains the same basic gameplay as the previous two games. It's a 6-button fighter featuring 18 playable characters that are all modeled after legendary movie monsters like vampires, mummies, etc., and they have movesets to match. So instead of throwing Hadokens and spinning pile drivers, you're throwing flaming bats and wrapping people up in bandages, which is always a good time. But there were some fairly significant changes made to this game, aside from the roster, that make it my favorite of the 3 original games. For starters, it does away with the round system of a traditional fighter in favor of a continuous battle that is essentially the same as Killer Instinct, where each character has 2 life bars, and there's only a quick break in the action when one is depleted, and you can also recover a portion of lost health if you manage to avoid taking damage for a brief period, and this can result in much more of a back and forth and longer matches than you might be used to from a 2D fighter. Also, each character, in addition to having a bunch of super specials and super combos to make use of, courtesy of your super combo meter at the bottom of the screen, they each have access to Dark Force abilities at the cost of 1 super combo gauge, and these are especially cool. You can summon a doppelganger with some characters, or take on a different form, get some assistance from a helper character, or divide into 4 like a Vism combo from Street Fighter Alpha 3, or just get really insanely strong for a short time. Throwing in the Dark Force abilities into what was already a fast-paced and over-the-top fighter with big combos and some insane super attacks pushes Vampire Savior into new and uncharted realms of awesomeness, and with so many radically different characters to choose from, this is one 2D fighter that I have still yet to become bored with all these years later, and probably never will. It features some of my favorite gameplay from any game in the genre. I've said in the past that a big part of the reason that I love the Darkstalkers series is because I have always loved the character designs and visual design in general, and the music, and this game is no exception. Again, all of the original characters like Dimitri, Morgan, Zabel Zarok, they all return, and they look just as awesome as they ever have. And new characters like Lilith, Jeddah, and Queen Bee are great additions to the series, and they have some very imaginative and elaborate designs, and to go along with the wide variety of character designs, we have a wide range of stage designs to go with them, and they include everything from a bombed out city and Morgan's classic chateau to a train ride on a very unorthodox train and the aforementioned Fetus of God, which blew my mind as a kid, and I still love the look of it now. So overall, the art direction of the Darkstalkers series is some of my all-time favorite visual design of any game series. And on top of that, the soundtrack is just as good and just as diverse as the visuals. Some tracks are high energy and have a hard rock sound, or maybe a little more playful for some characters, while other tracks are more slow-paced and have kind of a melancholy sound to them, and these are actually my favorite tracks in the game. I think they sound great and are very distinct to this series, but in short, I love everything about the visuals and sound design of this game and the entire Darkstalkers series, and when you throw in the fantastic gameplay that gives any other 90s 2D fighter a run for its money, well, then you've got what I think is a bona fide, horrified classic that every fighting fan owes it to themselves to play. It's Vampire Savior, the Lord of the Vampires. And to say it's awesome wouldn't be doing it justice.